is it now the time to strike and to open conversations with Joe? We know Phil Waugh, I think, was certainly up there last week. I imagine he will have caught up with the Wallabies at some point in time around those World Rugby meetings. But, I mean, now's the time to really say, righto, Joe, we're, astounded by what you've done with this team. Maybe astounded is too strong. We love what you're doing. Let's open discussions around how do we convince you to move forward, to take this job on until 2027, have that runway, that security, and leave the ball in Joe's court.
Yeah, and look, I don't think that those conversations are going to really progress in the next couple of weeks. The reality is he's looking at Scotland. He's going, how do we beat Scotland? And then he'll obviously cast his eye on Ireland. It's typically the assistant coaches that will be a week ahead of the head coach, who's just about trying to get the side in the best preparation and the best space possible. But my understanding was that Joe Schmidt said towards the end of the year, after the spring tour, we'll sit down, we'll have a bit of a think, and we'll kind of hopefully be able to map it out. Now, my understanding is that earlier in the test season, there was an incident with his child who has epilepsy. It's been spoken about by Joe Schmidt in the past. Now, those sorts of things are going to play on his mind around how's the health of his family, and that's number one for Joe Schmidt. Yep. So you can't begrudge Joe whatsoever if he goes, you know what, I've got to return, I've got to look after my family. But he's not necessarily now banging his head against the door with the Wallabies either. He's seeing success. He's seeing the improvement,
the growth,
that allows you to go, you know what, we're in a really good path here. And there has to be a strong element for me with Joe Schmidt going, you know what, we achieved a lot with Ireland, but we still didn't get the Irish past the World Cup quarterfinals. And Joe Schmidt was with the All Blacks at the 2023 World Cup, so instrumental in seeing them get to the final and will go 1 point away from taking out a Webb Ellis Cup. But I imagine that for a competitive guy like Joe Schmidt, there's a deep sense of desire to go deep in a World Cup campaign.